EC, our listeners in Columbus may know with Physicians, CareConnection, and the Step One program you lead in partnership with CelebrateOne. For those who do not know what it is, give me brief into about Physicians, CareConnection, and so on.
Sure. Physicians CareConnection, we've been in this community for over about 26, 27 years now. Many people know us because we operate one of the oldest free clinics here, but we also operate Step One for a Healthy Pregnancy. When you think of Physicians CareConnections, you really want to think about problem solvers. We are out working with people who are vulnerable, who need to access health care, and particularly for African American women who are pregnant, that is prenatal services. And so we have partnered with CelebrateOne. There are 8 recommendations in improving infant mortality for this community, and we are recommendation number 4, which is that increased access to prenatal care. So we're working with all the hospital systems and the OBGYN providers in the community to understand how a woman might schedule an appointment in their facility. We take care of that heavy lift for the woman, understanding what insurance might be needed or what's close to them. We review their previous preterm history if they've had a kid before, and we really try to match them up with the appropriate doctor and take all that guesswork out for them. And then we also assess some of their other social determinants of health. So, you know, when you get pregnant, you need car seats, crib, you need food, clothing, other things that the baby might need, or maybe it's employment, or maybe there's something wrong with their housing. Maybe you need rental or utility assistance. And so we're also addressing those needs for the women and getting them connected to those services.
I love it. And let me correct myself. President of Physicians CareConnection right there. Green. Thank you for that. Give me everything. When I get pregnant, I'm going to need everything. The crib, car seat, let me get them wipes, let me get them diapers, because money is crazy. Well,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Director Stapleton, my baby, welcome back. So September is Infant Mortality Awareness Month. And an alarming stats have shown that recently Black babies are dying at nearly 3 times the rates of other babies in our community. So tell us why we should know about this and why it's such an important month.
If a society is judged, thank you again, Micah, for having me here. If a society is judged based on how it handles its most vulnerable citizens, then we need to make sure that we're taking care of our babies. And what we know is that in Columbus, we have done a very good job of reducing infant mortality overall. What we are struggling with is the disparities between white and Black babies. And so over the next 5 years, we're really going to take a hard look and a real focus and do equitable work in our African American community to ensure that we can make some decisions and do some programming and do some education in our community to make sure that that's a little more equal. It is not acceptable that a Black baby is 3 times more likely to die than a white baby. And so whatever we are doing in our community, we must double down in the areas where we know we are having our greatest need. And that is what we call our CelebrateOne or opportunity neighborhoods. And so we focus in on those neighborhoods, and we will continue to focus in on those neighborhoods with equitable programs to ensure that we're educating the African American community on Step One, on getting prematurity issues out of the way, on healthcare and all the other things that are determinant to a baby going to full term and reaching the age of 1.
Thank you for that. EC, you know, women get pregnant, you know, and may not know they're pregnant, right? You could be like 6 weeks or something, you know, you are even carrying. But how soon should a mother begin prenatal care?
So a mother should begin her prenatal care in her first trimester. So that is up to her first 13 weeks. We want to make sure that we connected her to a doctor. But I will tell you this. You really need to begin thinking of your pregnancy before you actually get pregnant. Those are some of the things that I think that are contributing to some of our outcomes, is that pregnancies need to be planned if possible. And so your healthcare leading up to that pregnancy, things that you're doing, physical activity, or just even the education about what it is to be pregnant. One pregnancy is different from another. So even if you were pregnant before, that preparation, right, of going into something that, you know, for a woman having a baby is almost as close to having death, right? So we want to be prepared for that. But we want to get them in their first trimester. The earlier they're in to see a provider, the better the healthcare outcome tends to be when it comes to having the baby.
I love that, because women wouldn't think about, like, before we try to get pregnant, you should already be taking prenatal care. You know what I mean? Because it does help. It would help, because pregnancy is definitely a hard struggle. 9 months carrying maybe more than one baby at a time. Don't jinx me, but still.
Absolutely.
Tell me, EC, besides the mother, the next important person in charge of watching the baby is the father. What would be your advice to dads who are tuned in right now, supporting a woman through a pregnancy, educating themselves, things like that?
It is just as important for the fathers to be involved right from the beginning, to be a partner to that mom, to understand the things that a child needs, especially as they're still in the womb. They need to know the resources. Maybe they need to help out with insurance and other things. And they need the crib, the formula, the diaper. Fathers are involved. And so we need to also help them get connected to those resources so that they can support the mother, whether they're with her or not.
Period. You heard what she said. Support that mama. Director Stapleton. So I know CelebrateOne does have some resources for dads, right? So tell me, what do you offer for fathers or fathers to be?
Anything we offer to mothers, we offer to fathers.
Yep.
Because this is about making sure a baby can get to the age of 1. And so if a father is in need, we can assign a community health worker, and anything that we do for a mom, we can do for a dad. And that's a crib, as EC says, or it's connections to Step 1, or it's connections to a program that helps dads be better dads called Dads to Be, that's located out of one of our lead entities, Moms to Be, at Ohio State University. It's a toolkit. Dads have questions and they want to get a sense of how to do things. Go to our website. There's a whole dad toolkit that educates fathers on the roles that they can play and the things that they need to learn in order to be better dads for an infant. This is about making sure that we give the tools to parents that they need, regardless of their marital status and their relationship situation. And so anything we do for moms, we do for dads, and there's a toolkit out there to get additional information and resources if necessary.
That's amazing. So the role of safe sleep plays in reducing infant mortality. Practicing safe sleep is critical to living from day 1 to year 1 and beyond. For listeners tuned in right now who may not be familiar with the ABCs of safe sleep, Director Stapleton, tell us about it and how to practice it.
Here's an example where fathers, aunts, uncles, friends, family can play a role. Everyone wants to make sure that their baby is safe when they hand it off to another family member, right? But that baby has to be handed off with knowledge, with understanding. So when you put a baby down, you put a baby down alone, not in the crib with a whole bunch of other items or things that could cause strangulation or suffocation. You to put that baby always on their back. It may look uncomfortable to you, but it is not uncomfortable to the baby. And it is the best way to keep a baby safe. And you put them in a appropriate sleep environment, a crib. So the ABCs of safe sleep are alone, on your back, and in a crib or a safe sleep environment. When we do trainings here through CelebrateOne, we train everyone in the family, fathers, mothers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, because we want everyone to do the same thing. And I know in our community, sometimes people say, well, it was good enough